this sweater as of 6 p.m. on Wednesday, the 1st of June 2022. I don't know why I looked at my phone the other day, considering it's right there. It's Pride Month. There's not even a plus on my LGBTQ there. My God, so uh so prejudiced. But anyway, so you already know the deal. It's gonna be parades out in the streets during the monkeypox lockdown, which I think it's inevitable. Uh, excuse me, having a negative look at you. All the companies will be changing their profile pictures to the pride flag. And that's basically it. And then there'll be the same memes that were from last year will be reposted. And I might actually dig through my saved to find that one of that guy at like a church saying that he isn't gay anymore. And repost that. Anyway. Zero tolerance for anti-English slurs. Scottish nationalists insist. What are some anti-English slurs? I don't know. Oh, Anglo, I guess. But other than that, I don't know. But it's free speech. Oh wow, the members of One Direction all hated each other. I couldn't tell. I don't even know what the Pride Boys are. But I think it's because Sega's releasing a new console. Because I seen that they made one. Oh, it's Sonic Frontiers. Do I actually want to see some gameplay from that? Right. Okay. This is what Sonic needs to be. What? I might buy Sonic Frontiers. I don't know. I have a feeling it's gonna do the thing that like I'm gonna show a clip from Sonic 06 that I think I might actually I watched this when I was 6, I think, or like 5, but really young. The first video I ever watched on YouTube. And it gave me nightmares, and you're probably gonna call me pathetic for this. Go on ahead. Like I don't judge you. Like I understand why you would do that. But I think that that's actually what's caused me not being able to play games like Skyrim, because like as soon as you leave that sort of barrier in a town, like every wolf, dragon, massive spider, etc., is charging toward you, and you don't even notice it until they're right behind you. I have a feeling that's what this is going to be, because that's what people apparently, I didn't see any of it, but Portosaurus Rex, I think, was talking about how people were comparing the game to Breath of the Wild just because it's open world. And like Breath of the Wild did the same thing with those robots. I don't know. I only ever played Breath of the Wild up until the point where you leave that island at the start, and I got killed by a robot. I just haven't played it in 5 years. So I know that IGN aren't really that trustworthy, but this video was like the third video that popped up in my recommended when I opened up YouTube, and I've taken a look, and the game honestly looks boring. I haven't seen. I watched like a minute or two of footage, and it was just Sonic climbing up this like building, like running on rails, running up walls, which I didn't even know Sonic could do. But I don't really play much Sonic games. And then he didn't even get to the top. He got to like this triangular bit. It looks like you're supposed to interact with it, but the player doesn't interact with it, and they just go, go off the building. I'm gonna assume that that building is like the game's version of like a waypoint, or I don't know what they called in Breath of the Wild, but I'm gonna use like Far Cry as an example. Like the radio towers from Far Cry, I think that's what they're supposed to be. Just the person playing, who is probably from IGN, just didn't interact with it. I'm gonna see if there's any like proper gameplay, because this is just boring. There's no way that everyone at Sega, like, I'm gonna turn the volume off for it so I can talk while watching. There's no way that Sega like thought this was okay. There's got to be something to it. I haven't seen any enemies, because there's either going to be no enemies or the enemies are going to pop out of the ground, like I said in Skyrim and uh, Breath of the Wild. It seems to me like it's that game, The Witness, but with Sonic. That's just boring. I'll give it some like proper footage. Yeah, I'm not watching anymore. I'll have to look at the game when it fully releases. Although I don't like buying games after, like, despite the fact that they're the same price, I don't like buying games after they're released at full price. I don't know why. I don't mind pre-ordering them though. But I'll just have to take a look at the game when it's finally released and decide to buy it or not, because this looks terrible. Okay, so this isn't the exact video, because this video came out 10 years after I saw it. But it's the same bit from Sonic 06. Yeah, I'm not gonna play anymore. And not because of like I'm scared of it or anything. I'm not. It's been 12 years. I've gotten over it. But just so I can keep the video as short as possible, so the fact that me explaining this is making it longer. But anyway, I didn't touch YouTube for like 2 years after that. Okay, so I'm not the only one that thought. You know that what I'm not the only one that was thinking the same thing as what I said just a few minutes ago. Why wouldn't Sega just provide the gameplay themselves? Why would you trust gameplay as crucial as this with a player with clearly zero experience with the series? Or even the genre, what was he doing? I don't know why Sega thought it'd be a good idea to reveal gameplay of their highly anticipated game and have some IGN guy walking around making it look bad. Like, surely a proper trailer would have been better from a marketing perspective. Oh, and, yeah. Why is God of War trending in the UK? Do we have more news about Ragnarok? That is not God of War, the game. Yeah, but why is God of War trending? But why? Why is the God of War community like this right now? What? I'm Swedish. It's true that we don't serve food to guests. What's the problem? What do you expect your guests to do? Bring their own food? You're just being rude. Like the guests shouldn't expect dinner to be made for them, but it'd be good, be nice. They made an Obi-Wan series when they really needed to make a Palpatine one. I mean Palpatine. Although actually, now that I think about it, yeah, I'd prefer that they made a Palpatine series in Obi-Wan, because I didn't understand what they could have done with Obi-Wan, with it being set post Episode 3, pre Episode 4. But I've seen the first episode, and yeah, okay. As long as it doesn't break continuity, it'll be fine. So, yeah, I've heard about this. Apparently, people are giving hate to the girl that plays that black girl. That really, really wants to kill Obi-Wan. I didn't have a problem with her, and I don't understand why she's receiving hate. But I haven't seen any of the hate, but I have a feeling that it has nothing to do with her being black. And Star Wars are defending her as they should, but we resist the racism. Oh yeah, really? This perfectly describes what is happening. Here, let me give you this platform that all 7 billion people can hear you saying that you're oppressed. People want walkable neighborhoods and diverse, low-trust communities. Trying to potty train baby, instructions unclear. We have reached the turn your back for 1 second stage. If my tongue could stop sort of just being wet. I'm gonna pause this just in case there's anything bad here. The way that he starts a tweet with, yeah, Bob made a saying that there's more, but I can't see if there is. It won't let me go up. Right, so, yeah, there's all sorts of attractive 20-year-old teachers who can't keep their hands off 12 to 15-year-old boys. Granted, there are also tons of much less attractive older women who seem to be unable to do so as well. And far more for the 16 to 17-year-olds too. Like Brittany Samora and her 13-year-old student. She got 20 years, by the way. Or Stephanie Ragusa, who was so happy that she got to screw 16 and 14-year-olds that she smiled in all 3 of her mugshots and her entire time in court. There's also Clara Dickey. She only got 4 years for raping a 14-year-old, giving him a bunch of drugs and something, and making him make a suicide pact with her, which is really weird. Really, I couldn't tell that that's really weird. Also, Lindsay Massaro, the 23-year-old teacher who did the deed with a male student a decade younger. Can't forget Brianne Altice, who had been having relationships with a number of guys in the school. Unfortunately, 3 of those guys were 15 to 16-year-old students. She was apparently so ravenous that she literally screwed those 3 boys until they couldn't move once. Ugh. That probably sounds like a good time to some use, but no thank you. Heller something who had sex with a 13-year-old boy she met at a summer Bible camp. Hope Jacoby accused of sex with minors ranging from 13 to 17. Now, accused. I think that's the first time that you said that this person is accused instead of confirmed. Pamela Rogers Turner, who was 27 at the time, with a 13-year-old. Gailey Warnick, who gave a 15-year-old good grades and alcohol in exchange for sex. Catherine Ronk, who got 6 years for messing with a 15-year-old. Stephanie Peterson went for an 8th grader. I'm going to assume 8th grade is the same as year 8. Andrea Ann Babber, husband caught her in the middle of screwing a 15-year-old student. Laura Lynn Cross groomed her 8-year-old student over 3 years and eventually got a baby from him while still underage. Hunter Day, 22 years old, charged with the rape of a 16-year-old. Rachel Respis and Shelley Dufresne, two teachers and friends who performed oral on and had sex and a threesome with the same 16-year-old student. And Lena Ferguson, 23-year-old, who had a prolonged sexual relationship with a 16-year-old student and even used her at the time fiance's apartment to have sex with him. Kerfana Jones charged with felonies for sending nudes to and statutory rape of a 15-year-old student. Lindsay Jarvis, then 27, was found in a car by the side of the road by a police officer with a 15-year-old student, charged with 2 counts of third-degree rape and sentenced to 18 months. What the hell is third-degree rape? I'm going to guess the first degree is, like, proper rape, you know? Second degree is attempted rape, or something like that. But what is third degree? Maybe it's rape that you didn't know was rape, like someone that you thought was overage, but it turns out that they aren't. I don't know. Like, I got first and second and third degree murder, except for second degree. I don't know what that is. But when it comes to rape, I have no idea. Anyway, sentence 18 months. Melanie Yusko charged with sexual contact with her 15-year-old student. Alana Benton Wells, 42. Normally I'm trying to stay out of the above 30s for teachers and I'm not posting any students that what's above 16, but she raped a 12-year-old, so... Virginia Hinckley, 28, got 6 months in jail for sex with a 16-year-old student. Kyla Sprinkles, real name, 26, was charged with 5 counts of sexual activity with a student who was 15 at the time. Laura Rich, 38, charged with sexual contact with 2 students, one 16 and one 18. Kenley Y. Pendergast, 25, a school counselor charged with sex with a minor. Madeline Marks, a 23-year-old substitute, arrested for sex in a parked car with 2 16-year-olds. Alyssa Gustafson, 24, sent nudes and had sex with a 14-year-old student, even went to his house. His mom thought she was just an older student. She received no jail time. I would understand why the kid's mom thought that she was an older student, because 24, you know, I mean, I think 24 is the minimum age that you can be and be a teacher, because you have to do, speaking, you have to do like 6 years of college, uni, whatever. Get your teaching degree, get your degree in whatever subject you want to go into. I could be wrong. I don't know how else to pronounce that. So just laugh at my failure. Arsley Sauceda, then 24, had sex with 3 students, one of them confirmed to be 16. Corey Beard arrested for 12 sex acts with students under 17. Tracy Miller sent nudes to 5 female underage students on Snapchat. Imagine having your teacher's Snapchat. Aaron McCauley, 25, had sex with 1 16 and 2 17-year-old students. Rachel Lenhart, 40, had held 2 alcohol and drug-fueled sex parties for her 16-year-old daughter, Addison Lenhart, image 2, and friends. She played naked twister of them and used sex toys on herself and the teens while using drugs and also the hot tub. Rachel woke up later at night to find her daughter's boyfriend screaming at her. Apparently, her daughter had said he could go ahead because she felt bad his 10-inch penis couldn't fit inside her. Rachel lost custody of her 5 kids. I want to read this quote. Addison defended her mother on Twitter where she's feeling, yes, my mum was arrested. Yeah, she made some mistakes. She was an alcoholic. Yeah, I screwed up too, but nobody deserves this crap, so stop. I don't know what's worse. Her having consensual sex with a bunch of students, or her daughter allowing her boyfriend to rape her mum. Because wasn't it? Didn't it say that? Woke up to find out that her daughter's boyfriend is screening her. So that, like, the way that's been worded, it makes it sound like that he started screening her, then she woke up. That is rape. Every time I refresh Twitter, this thread is on my screen. Poe, are you okay? That hurt. The stuff like that. We don't royalty had unimaginable privileges. Most trans folk are socially right at the bottom, getting crap on by everyone, asking not to be degraded or humiliated too much to ask. Well, what about all the trans celebrities? Like, I'm not talking about people who are famous for being trans, but I'm talking people who were famous and then became trans. The directors of the Wachowskis, Bruce Jenner, Ellen Page, I was about to say Nick Maines, but he became famous after being trans, so that doesn't count. Yeah, all those people. Or are you trying to say that, like, those people aren't real trans people because they're just doing it for the attention? That's transphobic. That echo came from me talking while having the Legacy bottle right in my mouth. I'm just going to finish it because there's not much left. Asking not to be degraded or humiliated too much to ask. Privileged. Expected better from you, I really did. So that means it should be illegal to say bad or mean things about you. That's pretty extreme privilege you're asking for. Okay, sorry, I just had to blow my nose. You had recently voiced concern someone is going to get killed soon over this panic. I worry too. Are you aware of Alport's scale and how mean or bad words, etc., towards the target group can rapidly escalate, especially in a moral panic? So if mean words can lead to violence, shouldn't we make it illegal to say mean words about anyone? Why only trans people? But I'm not talking about only trans people. But you said only, you never mentioned any other group. You were talking specifically about trans people. It's how I imagine this conversation is going to go. No, being mean is what we're all capable of, but things like target harassment and target misgendering or dead naming are way beyond being mean or bad. I don't know what dead naming means. I'm going to assume that that's when you call a trans person by the name that they used to go by before becoming trans. So when I said Bruce Jenner, Ellen Page, and Nick Maines, that was me dead naming because they're now Caitlin, Elliot, and Nicole. But being mean to a black person, not the same as dehumanizing with racial slurs, is it? So you're saying that it's fine to... It's not dehumanizing to call a black person the N-word, but if you call a trans person a faggot, I guess, that's dehumanizing. You are very, very... I was going to say racist, but you're not really. Actually, yeah, you are very, very racist. You're saying it's okay to call black people dirty N-words. I don't know why I added 30 in there, but you're saying it's okay to call them the N-word. But what if the person still finds simply being mean is dehumanizing? Shouldn't all of it be banned? FIR, everyone then? Oh, 4. Excuse me, 4. Someone just sent the first 5 volumes of Berserk Deluxe Edition to the PO Box. Ben, you madman, thank you so much. Mad lad. Also, thank you, Artisan, for the custom landscape rolly pouch. I've been spoiled today. Read again. You didn't get it. XX. No, I did. It seems you did not convey your point well. You asked if I was aware of how such language can lead to violence. I then asked a clarifying question then it seems you reneged on your point. Stick with a point. What's going on now towards trans people? What do you mean now? What's happening now? Explain to me what's happening now. Because now, it's getting, like, 5 seconds ago, right? In fact, half an hour ago, before well, there was pauses, okay? Before I start recording this video, we'll say 5 o'clock. The support for trans people was nothing compared to what it is now, 1 hour and 37 minutes later, because it's growing by the millisecond. So trans people weren't oppressed an hour and 37 minutes ago. They weren't oppressed yesterday. They weren't oppressed a year ago. They weren't oppressed 5 years ago. They weren't oppressed 7 years ago. They weren't even oppressed when there weren't really any trans people 8 years ago. Anyway, on Comfrey, like the state engineer hater of the Jews. As I say, even Hewitt feels this has got so extreme, someone will get killed. This isn't about words mean or bad, it's far deeper. But why would it only be applicable to one group? Couldn't the same behaviour to any group lead to the same outcome? Speaking of Hewitt, I forgot to do a review. Each case will rest on its own merits, context, mindset of the abuser, etc. You cannot tell what the mindset of the alleged abuser is. Right, this is the argument that was made in Marcus's trial. It was, well, we believe that he's a fascist, therefore he's a fascist. So when it comes to doing it towards trans people, instantly be mad. But when it's any other group, well, we should examine the context and X other criteria. Again, I will ask, why should trans receive preferential treatment? I see, well, what makes you think this level of hate beyond the mean or bad is okay for others? He's not saying that it is. It isn't. Sexually abusive speech towards cis women has got people sacked. Well, what about towards men? Because as that guy who was posting all the teachers being pedos has proven, yes, it does happen to men. Anti-Semitic slurs got others fined or jailed. Present company, of course. Certain racial speech will get you in trouble. So what I'm asking, again, for like the 4th time maybe, is if mockery and mean or bad words should be illegal, or punishable towards certain privileged X groups. Then in the name of equality, why should all groups not receive the same privilege? I've made it clear targeted misgendering or denaming isn't just mean or bad. It's way beyond that. No, it's not. It into dehumanization. No, it's not. And denial of existence at the basic level. No, it's not. Right, I don't recognize any trans person as trans. That doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that they don't exist. And it also doesn't mean that they're not trans. It means that I don't recognize them as trans. I do not speak for everyone. The only person I speak for is myself. You collectivist. Mean or bad? Get real. We are not arguing extent, we are arguing mean or bad. Those words are in fact mean or bad. So I'll ask you again, you seem to have a huge problem with answering questions. Should any language that the target finds dehumanizing be banned, and should this be extended to all groups? Ah, crap. Come on, why not? I'm just going to end the video here and then I'll continue it tomorrow.